Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Caira. I make videos all about Chicago, apartments, and a little Trader Joe's. I owe you guys this video. I put up a question box on my Instagram. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, go over there and hit follow. But I put up a question and asked, what are all of the questions that you guys have about being a leasing agent? I get a lot of messages from people like asking about my job and what it looks like and how it works. And so I wanted to film like a proper sit down chat video and answer your guys' questions to let you know. I'm finally doing that today. If you didn't know already, I am a leasing agent with Compass. That means that I am able to help people find their dream apartments here in Chicago, and I get paid, and the clients aren't the ones who pay me. I can get into all of that nonsense as well as we continue down these questions, but very excited to film this video for you today. If you haven't already, please hit that big red subscribe button. I post a video every 3 days and your support means so much. And also, if this is a type of video that you enjoy, please give this video a thumbs up so that way I know. It really helps me understand what kind of content you guys like and also kind of helps me in the YouTube algorithm a little bit. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So I just have screenshots on my phone of all of the questions that you guys asked. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of jump through them and I'll answer them. They might not be like super fluid, but I just really wanna answer the questions that you guys were dying to know. All right, first question. Do you recommend staying at your 9 to 5 until you make enough or jump right in? This is super tough. And ultimately it comes down to your finances. And I don't really want to like tell somebody to get themselves into a situation that they can't handle financially. That being said, being a leasing agent while having a 9 to 5 separately would be really tough. I know on our team specifically, we have always looked for agents to join our team that are not working in 9 to 5 because all of our training happens between business hours during the weekday. It's also really tough because a lot of my clients tour during the week. I do usually have a lot of tours over the weekends as well, but I am fully working normal business hours. And so it would just be a really tough thing to do to try and be able to do both. We do have agents who will join the team and have part-time jobs, like people have worked in bars, or like one of our girls technically does work a 9 to 5 job, but her hours, she's able to do it like whenever throughout the day that she wants. So she's super flexible. Things like that, you can make it work because what is hard about being a leasing agent is typically you don't get paid for like 90 days. Usually the way it works is you help a client find their apartment 60 days before they move in. That's usually when like there's good availability. And then the building won't write the check until 30 days after move-in. So that kind of gives you this 3-month gap to be like, you gotta still make money somehow, but you're not gonna start getting paid from leasing. I think part-time jobs, you can do it with a part-time job. I think it would be really tough to do with a full-time 9 to 5. Next question, what type of certifications would you need to become an agent? Let me preface this right now of like, I'm strictly speaking on being an Illinois leasing agent. I don't know what this looks like elsewhere. I have not looked into it. I am a leasing agent here in Chicago, so I only know about Illinois. That being said, you do need to do an online course for Chicago. It is a 15-hour course. You can go and do it in person. You can also do webinar or self-taught. I did self-taught version, and honestly, I think I probably should have done webinar, but that's besides the point. But you just need to do that course. You then need to pass your online course. And then once you've passed your online course, they will help you set up a test for you to do the state exam. I have done all of my schooling through Real Estate Institute. There are a bunch of different ones to do it. I can't really speak on like how good Real Estate Institute is versus other ones because it's just the only thing that I've used, but I have passed every time. So that would be my recommendation. Besides the 15-hour course, that's the only certification you need to get. You'll need to be registered with an association of realtors. So like here in Chicago, ours is called CAR, the Chicago Association of Realtors. You will have to hang your license under a brokerage. So like my license is hung with Compass, but as far as like actually passing tests and everything, it's just the 15-hour course and then your tests. What are your hours like? All the time, 24/7, except for when I'm sleeping. It is a good thing that I love this job so freaking much because I work like a crazy person. I literally work 7 days a week. I never take a day off. Like even if I'm traveling or something, I am still working at least part of my day just because I can't let things pile up like that. And a lot of days literally work from like 7 or 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. It totally varies. Other days I might just do like an hour of emails in the morning and then there's nothing really else for me to do. But it's kind of like the double-edged sword of this job is that because I'm not required to work certain hours and because I am paid 100% commission based, I am an absolute workhorse. I love it. and I love it so much that like it makes me want to keep working, but it's because I'm like super hungry for it and I want to close like as many deals as possible and like help as many clients as possible. You could work way less hours than me, you'd be totally fine, but I work a freaking ton because I enjoy doing it so much. How much does it cost to become a real estate agent? Okay, I had to look this one up because I couldn't remember. So for Real Estate Institute, if you do the self-study, it's $175, or if you do like the in-person or the webinar version, it's $199. I feel like they do sometimes offer sales. I don't know how often. I didn't get a sale. I just paid the $200 for mine, but that's how much you pay for your actual course. I'm pretty sure it's like roughly $50 for you to go to this testing site and do your like state exam. That's it as far as getting your actual license. The big whopper is it is like $900 a year for your CAR membership, your Chicago Association of Realtors membership. That one kind of hurts at first, especially when you're not like actively making money. I'm pretty sure you can do that one on a payment plan though and pay it like monthly or quarterly or something. But those are like all of the fees that you need to do to like start up in leasing. I've had some people ask me and be like, oh, like, should I just like kind of jump into it? I'm not sure if this is something you want to do. I mean, to just like do your testing, I guess that's technically just like $200. So like, that's not the end of the world. If you're going to go through the whole entire process and pay your Chicago Association of Realtor payments, I know I wouldn't want to pay $1,000 unless it was something that like I knew I was going to like really commit to. So just keep that one in mind. Okay, this next question is, do you only make commission or is it hourly as well? So for what I do, it is 100% commission based. Nothing that I do is hourly. I am only paid by commission. There is a difference of if you are an on-site leasing agent. So let me kind of break that down really quick. I am a leasing agent at a brokerage. So what that means is I don't work for any specific building. I can show people anything in Chicago, which I really, really like because it doesn't feel salesy to me. I get to just show the best options and you get to pick whatever you want. There is the second role of this that you could be an on-site leasing agent. That means that you are hired by that property and your job is to take people on tours of that specific property. That is a completely different job to what I have. That one is like a 9-to-5 job. You do still work weekends, but that job is a salaried position. And then I believe you get bonuses for how many leases you close. I don't honestly know. I've never gone into that realm. It's just not what I want to do. I like this side of things so much more. And honestly, because I'm not capped at a salary, I'm able to like make a lot more money on this side. But I know a lot of people do really like the on-site side of things and they like the security of having like benefits and everything laid out for them. Whereas I did have to figure out all of that stuff on my own. But once it's figured out, it's really not that bad. How long did the entire process of becoming a leasing agent take? Not long at all. You can do the 15-hour course over a weekend and then get tested and pass and you're done. Like, it's really not this huge big endeavor. You also have the option of you can get a 120-day leasing permit. Basically what that means is a brokerage or a team on a brokerage would have to sign you on and be like, we are committing to taking this person onto our team. They're not licensed yet, but we are going to give them this like provisional license, which does let you fully operate with the promise that you get your license within 120 days. On our team, we don't like to do that. We like people to come over and already have their license just because it's easier and more seamless for onboarding. However, it is something that we have done. It is something that can be a workaround, but it doesn't take long to actually do all of the testing and everything. Like, you can literally bust it out in like 4 days if you wanted to. This person asked me, are you planning on getting your broker's license? I am. I have been studying for my broker's license for like over 6 months at this point, but like not really given it my best effort. I've more recently been like really trying to commit to it. But I will say the difference between getting your broker's license versus your leasing license is mind-blowing. Leasing is 15 hours. Your broker's license is 60 hours. And that's not to be a managing broker. That would just be able to like do sales. It's taking so long and it's like super frustrating because the information you learn in the book isn't things that you like, it doesn't teach you how to be a broker. It just teaches you like the weird laws and terminology and stuff, which I get it, you need to know, but it's taking a long time. I will be getting my broker's license by like the middle of April. I've committed to like that date and I'm getting it done, but it just takes a lot longer. All right, next question. What's your least favorite aspect of the job? 2 parts to this. I probably have 2. One is that because it's not capped, I literally am an absolute workaholic and it's like a love-hate thing I like about myself. I don't give myself any leeway and I literally just work so much, but I also love that about myself because it like pays off and it's like fun that I get to be in control of my life. I'd say probably the more frustrating thing is I love all of my clients, but it does happen where like I only get paid if a client that I tour does end up signing at an apartment. So I will have people who I will tour with and I'll spend 4 hours with them going around the city and everything. And then after we see them all, they'll just be like, oh, well, I walked into this one place yesterday and I've decided to apply there. And I'm like, no, I talked to you about this. Like I could have toured you at that place, but because you walked in, they're not going to pay me. So it gets kind of frustrating in situations like that when it's like, it's kind of out of my hands. Like I can tell everybody as transparently, like I can tour you anywhere, just let me know where you want and I'll get it booked. But I have to be that first point of contact, because if you reach out to the buildings on your own, they'll say you're their client, not mine. But even with me like disclosing that and trying to explain that situation, I'll still have people who just kind of like go behind my back and then I lose out on getting paid for all of those hours. Also, just with COVID, I've had so many clients who I've toured and then their offices are no longer requiring them to be in Chicago, so they don't end up moving. And that kind of sucks too. And it's totally out of their hands. It's not their fault or anything, but it's just like sometimes like I invest all of these hours just for nothing, and that can get hard. What do you do on a day-by-day basis? This is an interesting question because every day really is different. I mean, today I sat at my computer and did emails for like 4 hours, and now I'm sitting in front of a camera and filming videos for like 2 hours. So that's today. I also did a virtual tour. No day is the same. Let's just put it that way. No day is the same, but what you can typically expect is like I have hours of emails every day, just lots of emails, things that are common for a leasing agent to have to do in a day because my life is just like way too specific. A lot of it will be calling buildings and getting their pricing and making sure that you have all of the information you need to be able to send those prices over to your clients, calling buildings and scheduling tours, or emailing buildings and scheduling tours, or scheduling tours through the online portals. I do a ton of phone calls with clients every day. Those are like my discovery calls where I really just hop on the phone and like make sure I fully understand everything that they're looking for and what they want. Emailing clients options, also just like responding to their emails after I send options, where we go back and forth and kind of make sure that they fully understand everything. Also touring takes up a ton of time, like especially when I'm doing these in-person tours, because I'm going with the clients from building to building. Once you're actually there, it's honestly so much fun because I get to just like apartment shop with them, but it takes up an hour per tour usually. So when you're doing 4 tours at a time, that can be a lot. Sometimes I've had as many as like 11 tours in a day, which I've had to split up. I didn't do all 11 by myself. I had my fiance Alex, who's also a Compass agent, help with some of them, but I'll have just like a ton of tours that have got to get done in a single day too. But invoicing is a big one. We have an invoicing coordinator on our team, but like if you don't, that takes up a ton of time. I feel like that's the majority of things. There's a lot. No day's the same. I spend probably 75% of my time at my computer, and then I would say like 25% of my time is spent touring. I also am able to do virtual tours now. Like buildings do virtual tours all the time, and I have so many clients moving from out of state that those are great because a lot of the times it means that I'm on a Zoom call at my computer instead of actually going to the building. So that can help save some time too. I always like post all these Instagram stories of like these beautiful apartments, and yes, I do that a lot, but a lot of it is also just like sitting right here. Do you think this is doable as a side hustle? No, no, I don't think so. Like it takes a lot of time, and honestly, to be able to be the best leasing agent possible, it just takes so much time to know what's going on with every single building and everything, that if you were to do it as a side hustle, like I just don't think that you would be able to be the best leasing agent possible, and then I would think that people would want to go work with someone else. I cannot tell you how much time I spend getting so much information from all of these buildings, between like parking, utilities, pet fees, rent prices, move-in dates, how long are they holding for, what their look-in lease is, what their administration fee is, like what their financial qualifications are and the credit requirements. And just like there's so much information, and there's so many buildings in Chicago that if you were trying to be able to really give your clients the best possible outcomes and situations, it takes too much time to be a part-time job. That's my personal thought. I mean, I do leasing and YouTube at the same time, but I feel like I just work 2 full-time jobs. I don't know if that answered that very well. Okay, so this one, I mean, I already talked on, is it salaried? But they also say like, how does it work getting paid? Let's just clear this up right now, because I feel like this is such a common question and misconception that people think that they have to pay me to work with a leasing agent, and you do not. Like, let me be super crystal clear. So the way that it works, the client does not pay anything. It does not add any extra fees. I will never hit you with an invoice. It is nothing sneaky like that. It doesn't change anything on your lease. It does not change the prices that you are being offered by the buildings. It is exactly the same as if you walked in off the street on your own. I promise. The way that it works is the buildings are the ones who pay us. So specifically speaking on professionally managed buildings here, because that's really what I work with the most, the buildings will usually pay somewhere between like 50% to 100% of 1 month's rent. That being said, that doesn't all go to the agent. That goes to like the brokerage, and then we have a commission split from there that it gets split down to. But it's usually 50% to 100% of 1 month's rent is what gets sent over there, and then we get our cut from that. So for example here, if I find somebody a 1-bed and it's $2,000 a month and that building is paying 100% commission, I write an invoice to the building for $2,000. The building sends a check to the brokerage for $2,000, and then whatever my percentage cut is from there, I get that money to myself. And that goes direct deposit into my bank account. But that's basically how it works. Sometimes buildings will do special incentives and they'll say like, we're currently offering 125% commission, or some will say we're now only offering like this flat rate of 1,200 for studios or something like that. It can vary, but roughly speaking, that's how it works. I will say from my own experience, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me, the differences between like if a building's offering 50% versus 100% versus 125%, I don't really care. At the end of the day, I have so many clients, which I'm very thankful for, that come through my door that it doesn't matter to me if a handful of them go with a 50%, doesn't matter if a handful of them go with 125. It all kind of nets out to be the same. And all I want is to make sure that the client needs to be happy. The client needs to find the best possible option for them, because that's how I know that that client's going to pass me on and give me more referrals to their friends and family, or they'll work with me again next year. That 25% difference isn't going to change things for me in a huge way financially, but it could change things for me if I didn't have the client's best interest in mind and they didn't want to work with me in the future, or they didn't want to pass along my name to their friends that are then moving. I feel like that answered that. Okay, I'm just gonna answer a couple more because I feel like this video is super long. How much experience do they look for when it comes to being a leasing agent? I can't speak for everywhere, but I can speak for our team. We do not require people to come in with any previous experience, really, because at the end of the day, we know that we're gonna have to train people from scratch anyways on like how we want them to handle themselves and behave as leasing agents. We really only do the creme de la creme. So like even if someone comes over with previous experience, we're going to be training them all over from start. So it doesn't really matter. I don't know what that looks like if you are joining, like other teams might have specific requirements. If you're going to work at a building, like they might have specific requirements, but I know for a fact, like there will always be teams that will take on people that don't have any experience. I started off at a different brokerage that I'm no longer with, and they did not require me to have any previous experience when I joined there. It was fine, but I also wasn't on team, so I didn't learn anything. Okay, this is kind of a funny question. What question do you wish clients would stop asking? Is this area safe, and what is the age and demographics of people that live in this building? Or where should I live when I'm a 20-year-old female who's single and moving by herself? These are all things that fall under fair housing that I cannot say. Like legally, I cannot answer any of these questions, and I get them so often. I always tell all my clients, I'll only show you buildings that I would feel comfortable living in myself, so I'm never gonna show you something that like I wouldn't feel safe and comfortable in. But that being said, like that's just me. Like you might have your own perceptions of that. Or I can say like, I'm 27 years old, like, and I live in this area and I like it, or different things like that. But I cannot tell you that this specific building has a lot of families or demographics of whatever kind you're looking for. It doesn't matter. Like I cannot talk on that at all. And people just don't understand that. And it always feels super awkward for me to have to be like, yeah, legally, according to fair housing laws, I cannot tell you. And honestly, I don't even know. Do you only find apartments in buildings, or do you work with landlords as well? I can show anything. So I can show both buildings. I can show landlords. I always strongly go with professionally managed buildings. It's kind of my specialty. It's my niche. It's also just my top recommendation. If people have a budget that allows for professionally managed buildings, I think that's always the best way to go. If you haven't already, go check out my Chicago apartment horror stories videos. I think that kind of gives a good idea of why I don't like working with landlords. It's not a black or white. Some landlords are great and people have really amazing experiences. Some landlords are awful, and you won't know until you move in because you don't have experience working with them before. Whereas at a professionally managed building, you can look up building reviews. You can hold that building accountable because you also can leave a review. Whereas like none of this can happen with landlords. There's a whole slew of reasons of why I always generally lead towards professionally managed buildings. But that being said, if I have a client who specifically wants a landlord building and they find something, I can absolutely show those. It's just not my specialty. I do have people on my team who more so specialize in those landlord style buildings, so I love to connect them because they'll honestly just help on them a lot better than I will. So if you're looking for a landlord style building, still reach out to me because I can still help. All right, last question. This is so long. Have you ever had to deal with any hard or annoying clients? Duh. I've closed, not even just like toured or like had conversations with. I have closed well over 200 deals now in the last like year and 4 months or something. So yeah, of course, out of over 200, I have had some people who have made me want to pull my hair out and cry when I come home. But I will say 99% of my clients are absolute like little dreams. And I come home and I'm just like, I can't believe this is my job. And I feel so freaking lucky that I just got paid to go hang out with like these super cool people who honestly I want to go grab a brunch with next weekend and go look at their super cool new apartments. And I love apartments so much that I genuinely am so excited for my clients when they pick what they want and they find options that they really love as well, that it's just fun. Like, it's so much fun. Like, I have clients where I'm like, I literally cannot build you a building that meets all of these requirements. It just does not exist in Chicago. And that can get frustrating because I want to be able to knock it out of the park every single time. But the vast majority, I would say, are amazing. All right, guys, this video was so much longer than I meant for it to be. I was gonna keep this to be like a 6-minute video, and here we are. But that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope this answered some of your questions. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment down below and I will try and answer them down there. I also might do a part 2 because honestly, there was questions I didn't even get to. And as always, hit that big red subscribe button. I post a video every 3 days and I would love for you to follow along. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next time.